Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So let me make sure I am up. This one is going to be relatively quick because I have one coming up at 5 o'clock as my normal show. But I may squeeze a few into the 5 o'clock since I am here doing my thing. Yes, good. I'm at 100% on the mic. My mic sounds nice. Check one. Good. So first, thank you everyone who's going to show up for this particular one. Like I said, this one is going to be quick and it wasn't necessarily planned. I saw the video and I wanted to do it since I saw the video and I thought it was interesting. The Do Nothing Justice Department, Jeff Sessions. I've chided the Jeff Sessions, the Justice Department, as for all intents and purposes, the Do Nothing Justice Department. At least do nothing good. He can go after stoners. The guy who looks like an alcoholic goes after stoners left and right. But when they chide him and they say, well, Jeff, I mean, Donald Trump put you in that office. Are you going to investigate anything? I mean, are you going to look into the Clinton Foundation? Are you going to look into the money laundering? Are you going to look into the fact that they actually didn't do an investigation when they said they were doing an investigation over the emails before? I mean, shit, man. You're under the president who was screaming at the top of his lungs, lock him up at every rally. They put you in office. And you look after stoners. Stoners. That was the best you could do, stoners. That may be changing. That may be changing. So this was on Hannity. God, I'm loath to even admit that, if I'm being honest. It hurts me to even admit that. But in this case, they have the interview on. So this is where I found the interview. And Jeff Sessions is the person who I'm talking about. He's the object of this. So this is coming out of Jeff Sessions' mouth. So regardless of where I find it, if this is the person who's the object of the thing that I'm talking about, I'm gonna run with it. This is Jeff Sessions having a conversation with Maria Bartiromo about investigations into the FBI, misbehavior of the FBI. Now, in this case, though, he's going into this from the standpoint of FISA warrants that they got in order to look after Donald Trump. Now, I want to talk about this after they have the conversation, because the story goes far beyond just this very specific conversation. There's a larger context that this exists in, and that larger context is the thing that we need to talk about, not necessarily the offenses to Donald Trump. Let's take a look at it. Maria Bartiromo talking to Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Are you, sir, investigating the fact that the FBI used the dossier to get a wiretap against Trump associates, and they did not tell the FISA court that the Democrats and Hillary Clinton paid for that dossier?
Let me tell you, every FISA warrant based on facts submitted to that court have to be accurate. That will be investigated and looked at, and we are not going to participate as a Department of Justice in providing anything less than the proper disclosure to the court before they issue a FISA warrant.
I think Jeff Sessions is an alcoholic. I don't know that for certain. Don't take my word for it. My grandfather was a flaming alcoholic. He would say very bad things to my grandmother at any opportunity that he could. And he had that same gait and those same bloodshot eyes in the way he interacted with people. Just saying. Jeff Sessions looked like he could barely communicate, let alone head the Justice Department. But nevertheless, that's who they have in that capacity. That's who Donald Trump put, for whatever reason, in that capacity. Now the question becomes, FISA warrants. They wiretap Donald Trump. They wiretap the guy who's the president, who's your president, the person who put you in that office. And are you going to look into the abuses that you guys are alleging with these wiretaps? Meaning, you got a FISA warrant based on a dossier that was paid for by his political opponent. You need to disclose the fact that that's your political opponent. That's the person's political opponent. You literally got a dossier off of somebody off of just slander and gossip column stuff. So Jeff Sessions saying he's looking into that. Here's the catch. Even if that was disclosed, assume for the moment that that information was disclosed. This dossier came from a salacious and unverified dossier paid for by the Clinton camp. Do you believe that they still would have given the go-ahead to strip away the Fourth Amendment rights of the person in the Trump campaign, Carter Page? That answer is most likely yes. It wouldn't have mattered. The The FISA court is for all intents and purposes a rubber stamp. Just so we are clear on what we're talking about, they're calling it a court. FISA court has rejected 0.03% of all government surveillance requests. Think about that. 0.03%. 99.7% of all FISA requests are approved. 99.7. My point here is, even if that particular bit of information was disclosed, meaning even if they disclose the fact that this came from the Hillary camp, most likely 99.7% chance that it was going to be approved. Your issue here, yes, is the FISA court. Yes, it's the fact that they didn't give that information over to the FISA court. That's a problem. So fair enough. But the larger issue here and the larger question that we're talking about is mass surveillance. Just because they called it a court doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a rubber stamp, giving it this prestige as if this is something being decided here. It's the agent who's giving the judge that information. There is nothing on your side of things to balance that equation at all. There's nothing on your side of things to even halfway balance the equation. This agent, for whatever reason, wants to strip away your Fourth Amendment rights. 99.7% of the time when that agent presents that case, that agent is stripping away your Fourth Amendment rights. Now, this is not a case of, oh, wow, this is just how awesome this is. No. No. It has nothing to do with awesomeness. You've allowed a secret court in your country, and you've enshrouded it in this idea that this is some kind of a court, that it's an actual court. For all intents and purposes, it's a rubber stamp. When an agent wants to investigate you, they're going to investigate you. When they want to strip away your Fourth Amendment rights, they're going to strip away your Fourth Amendment rights, regardless of what loincloth that they use to try to cover the shit up. What we're talking about here is mass surveillance, unchecked mass surveillance. And I understand they're looking at this from a personal standpoint because it's Donald Trump. But we're talking about something that's affecting each and every American at any point. Any of us can have our Fourth Amendment stripped away. Can have it stripped away. It's just in this particular case, they politicized the FBI under the Obama administration. It was doing this to look at their political opponents. But taking the political opponent stuff out of it, it's kind of besides the point. Yes, I know it's a big deal, but I'm saying, in this case, it's somewhat slightly besides the point, at least from the argument that I'm making. I'm saying that there's a larger issue at work. And that larger issue is, do you want your federal government having a secret court that, without you being aware of it, without you being able to put up a defense, strip away your rights? What rights? What right? Search and seizure my ass. What right? That's the problem with this. The problem, yes, is the Nunes memo. Yes, it's talking about abuses. But those abuses can take place for pretty much any American. It is amazing to me that Americans allow this to function in the way that it functions. I'm saying that's the conversation that need to be had. Whether we want and whether we're okay as a government with this kind of Stasi in the background, regardless of how they enshroud it, regardless of what legitimacy they try to give it, at the end of the day, you have a secret court with any agent. Give that agent, give that court information. You have nothing to rebuke. You don't even know this proceeding is taking place. And at least 99.7% of the time, they're going to strip away your Fourth Amendment rights. What chance do you have if they can do this shit to the President of the United States? So, like I said, this one wasn't necessarily going to be long. This one was a quick one. I still have one coming up at 5 p.m. today, so be on the lookout. I'll take calls on that one from patrons, so just be aware. All right, guys. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, oh wow, you can always support the patron. Thanks, everyone.